Jesse's Grill. I have to move that. That's a good song. And that was Men at Work, and before that, the Allman Brothers. And you're listening to KRIM 96.3 FM. Good morning, everyone. Chris Higgins in the studio, and going to get started with our Community Spotlight program. Just a little bit late this morning, but that is okay, because we just have some great things to talk about. We have MHA Foundation in the studio, Mr. Kenny Evans and Miss Jennifer Smith. How are you two doing today?
Good morning, Chris. Doing well, thank you.
Bright and shiny.
Bright and shiny. And we also have our intern, Ashlyn. Good morning, Ashlyn.
Good morning, Chris.
Hey, great to have you in this morning. And Ashlyn, part of our intern program that's sponsored by MHA Foundation. So thank you so much, guys, for being a part of that. And it's fun having Ashlyn in here again, just having that youth. And someone that's a little bit younger than Rock and Ron and I.
Hey, I
it's
think
nice.
that I'm getting offended.
Hey, you know, age, it's only a number, but a number's a number, you know?
It's a moving number.
Yeah, every day it seems to be moving. Oh boy. So hey, this morning, you know, I don't know if we want to, if what you guys were planning on talking about. I know Granite Dells, we were talking about the park last time. You were on the program, and just all the wonderful things that are happening over there. Is that something you wanted to talk a little bit about?
You know, I feel like this is just kind of an open dialogue with MHA this morning. And you know, if we want to talk about the park, we can go there, or we can talk about other programming. We could talk about your internship that you're doing here, other things that we're doing at the school. So it's kind of an AMA kind of thing. Ask me anything.
Ask me anything.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait a second.
As vice mayor, you never get that.
No, it has to be anything. Well, I know a little bit, maybe once we get into the program a little bit more, want to maybe give Ashlyn an opportunity to talk about a upcoming play that they're going to be doing, and this is a special play because it's one that she wrote.
Oh wow, how cool.
So yes, so she can give a little teaser and some information about that. But yeah, you know,
Not a murder mystery.
Oh, yes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what's interesting. You have to be really careful if you're going to promote that on Facebook, because that word, the M word, will get you banned.
It's a psych comedy. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
that's how they get around it.
Yes.
It's a psychological thriller. Or
Oh,
a psych
right.
comedy. A psych comedy.
Psych comedy.
Yeah. So
Huh.
that'll, So,
Interesting.
hey, we'll learn more about that. But yeah, you know, I think recently there were some posts I saw on the MHA Foundation Facebook page, because if you want to see what's going on with the park and the status, kind of what is being worked on, it's a great place to get information.
Absolutely.
So I saw, you know, a different phase or something, a different part was being started.
Yes.
So, yeah, we should.
So right now, at this very moment, our contractor that is going to be installing the synthetic turf fields are reviewing contracts, and we are eagerly anticipating them to mobilize in hopefully on Monday. So there's going to be, you know, for folks that have been driving by and continuing to see dirt and continuing to see dirt and continuing to see dirt up on top
Yes.
along Mud Springs, it's going to start to change. And for the next 3 weeks or so, they're probably going to see rocks and more rocks and more rocks, because the first thing that has to happen with those sports fields is subsurface drainage. And so there will be drainage systems that will be installed subsurface first, and then on top of that will be 4,000 tons of rock delivered to the site.
Wow.
Which, it's interesting because my my father-in-law, his whole career has been in logistics and transportation. He was trucking is his thing, and so we were talking this weekend, and I shared that number with him, and he goes, "Oh, well, that's not really a big deal." He's like, "It's only 1,000 loads."
Only 1,000 loads. Yeah.
So I I'm looking forward to the drone footage of truck after truck after truck after truck after truck after truck coming in.
Yeah.
And I think that the interesting thing is that it's all part of our reclamation project.
Mhm.
The goal there is to harvest the water so that we can make it a self-sustaining park.
Yeah. I was talking to someone about that this morning and trying to explain as best I could from the tour that I was given by you and Michelle Nelson, I believe, was on that tour, part of that. Yeah, maybe to talk a little bit about that, because it's very impressive and it's substantial.
Yes.
Just all of the pieces.
Absolutely.
And the engineering.
And engineering.
You know, conceptually, it's easy to say you're going to build a park that's self-sustaining, but when you look at all the pieces that have to come together, like she's talking about 1,000 ton of rock, sounds like a lot, but when you look at the amount of work that's going to go into that process, what we've got to do is be able to develop a plan where the water flow allows us to reuse that water over and over again. So interesting, the amount of engineering that goes into that, so that you can harvest the water that Mother Nature provides for us, use that water, put it into the lake, and then recycle it through the fertigation, the irrigation system on the grass areas, and then recapture that a second time and put it back into the system.
And this isn't something that you accidentally stumble on. There's so much intention that goes behind, like Kenny said, the engineering of this. Every single detail, you know, the parking lots have to be graded so that they're tilted, so that the water goes in the right direction. And, you know, all of the turf areas and all of this subsurface drainage that we were just talking about, these drain systems that are installed under the ground that nobody will ever see, but they're actually feeding the whole system. And it is literally the entire site, save a few acres on the south side, that actually does literally point all to the lake, so that we can capture as much as we can from Mother Nature.
And I believe last time you were in, last month, the pump was in transit, I believe.
We wish it was in transit.
Oh, or okay,
So
gotcha.
this is actually kind of a cool thing. The pumping system company, they have their own, I mean, there's a whole set of pumping system engineers that have worked on this project, and then custom building the pumping system.
Yes.
And then there is the pump house.
Yes.
And the pump house is a prefabricated building that is going to look very similar to the Sparklight Building that's on the south side of the property. You know, it's kind of got the exposed aggregate finish and that type of thing, so it's sort of blend into the background. Those two pieces, actually, those two companies work together, and they install the pumping system in the pump house before it even comes to the site. And so when the truck and the crane come in on site eventually, someday, I think, it is literally a plug and play system. All of the plumbing from, you know, from the lake and the wet well, and by plumbing I'm talking like 72-inch cisterns. We're not talking plumbing, we're talking plumbing, is all engineered to fit exactly within the pump house, both going into the pump house as well as coming out to not only feed the streams and recirculate to the streams, but also to fertigate, to irrigate and fertilize the entire, all of the turf areas on the site. So literally the crane will come in and they will set the pump house that already contains the pumping systems down onto that plumbing, if you will, and connect things and turn them on.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Ready to go.
Hopefully engineered to the 1/4 inch.
Yes. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Sparklight Building. So that's already in place. And I would imagine then that building will house the equipment that will provide internet service or Wi-Fi to the park.
That building provides internet connectivity for all of northeast Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Very, very significant structure that intentionally looks
really boring.
nondescript.
Yeah.
Now we'll actually have, they're still working out the most ideal location to centralize all of the IT for the park project.
Okay.
But one of the considered locations is actually in a maintenance building that's going to be housed on the south side of the park.
Right beside it.
Right beside it.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, to our knowledge, this will be the first smart park designed in the state, designed from the ground up in the state of Arizona to be a true smart park.
Instead of just a already established park that,
Retrofitted.
yes.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And I know the amphitheater, that was something that we had talked about before, and kind of Ashland's ears perked up with that being mentioned
Have a
and
place
talked
for
about.
a mystery movie.
Yeah, I know, and you know, just how impressive that is with all of the features, and they might seem minor or maybe small, but will really make a difference.
Absolutely. So the amphitheater is it's going to be built like you said. It's built with the end user in mind, and that end user that we're looking at is Ashland's peers and those that follow her. So you know, we like to cater to our needs, but and Terry and predict things. But what we really want is for our young people to feel comfortable in the project that we're building, because they're going to be the ones that are going to enjoy it for far longer than we are. So we have built into it amenities that they will hopefully enjoy for many decades, including outlets. So you'll be able to charge your phone or your laptop while you perhaps sit at a class or in an event out at the amphitheater. You'll be able to be in a shaded environment, so it's comfortable. And then, of course, with the internet connectivity that we were talking about, when you add a water bottle filling station to that, that pretty much meets almost all of life's needs.
If you're a young person.
And want to also mention just perusing the MHA Foundation Facebook page. April 23rd, a wonderful event is happening, and that is the RVN3 Foundation Golf Tournament. They just have a annual golf tournament, and they've added this year a cornhole tournament to that as well. And it's out at the Payson Golf Club. But we saw, or you know, you can see that MHA Foundation contributed to that event and to the RVN3 Foundation. Dickie and Marty just do an incredible job, and the role of that foundation and what they're doing, helping so many young athletes here in Rim Country and families, cover sports fees, equipment fees, travel, tournament fees. It's amazing, and that is an event that so many people love being a part of.
Well, and you know, we get a lot of questions about there seems to be some speaking of mystery, there seems to be some mystery that we're shrouded in about how we do things, and one of the philosophies of the board is to be the yeast and not the whole loaf of bread. And we hear that over and over, and we remind each other of that when we're trying to sift through different potential projects. And so things like this, where we're able to come along behind them and help support them in a fundraising effort, is truly a situation where we are being the yeast. And it meets our fully meets our mission, because of course it's wellness and education, because that is their mission as well. But we are helping them to garner more community support. And so our investment in their organization through things like this, that they have a proven track record. They have had amazingly successful events, so much so that's why they had to add on the cornhole tournament.
Yes.
Because there just wasn't enough space on the golf course to add more golfers, which is crazy cakes, but awesome. So to be able to support that, you know, they've got the band, and they've got, you know, so much excitement and such a good community event in and of itself, but to also be the yeast and raise more community support and more financial support for that organization.
And another event it's exciting to see its return is the Women's Wellness Forum.
Women's Wellness Forum.
I know, yeah. It is great to see that back.
I must have started on that when I was right in kindergarten. That's right, I didn't go to kindergarten. That's been a 20-year plus event, and highly successful. One of the most successful women's wellness events in the state of Arizona.
Yeah, the 22nd annual Women's Wellness Forum, and that is June 11th, Saturday, June 11th, from 8 to 2 p.m. And how many years was it? 2 years because of COVID that didn't happen.
First we canceled the entire, we just outright canceled it, and then the second year we scheduled it and then backed it up and then backed it up a second time, then ended up backing it the third time before we ended up having to schedule it based on the best advice from county and state officials.
And that's a really another example of a great community event. A lot of different businesses and organizations involved in that event. Speakers are brought from outside the community, and usually hear great things about the speakers there. Diana Jordan speaking.
Yes, and I think as you mentioned, one of the benefits of it, we're able to bring in those individuals and enterprises in the community that are focused on wellness, not health care. Sometimes health care, not necessarily health, but wellness in its broadest sense. Our mission is to not have the biggest, most well-attended hospital in Arizona, but to get our people healthy enough that we use the hospital as the last recourse, not the first recourse.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things going on. It's getting into that time of year, and it's nice to see the activities again. The 2 years that we just kind of didn't have much going on.
2 years we lost.
Yeah, we just had a birthday party that we were able to attend this past week, and just sitting outside and eating hors d'oeuvres and cupcakes with people that we love, it was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it was easy to maybe take those things for granted.
Yeah.
And they're taken away from you for a couple years.
Yeah.
And when you're reintroduced to them, it's like, wow, this is
We
great.
should do this more often.
Yeah. One of the things, like with school, no dramas. You didn't have any productions, did you, for a while?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Wow.
how was that?
We did do some like pre-recorded things. So like I know that the drama department would meet in at the school sometime, and then pre-record things and let it out via like Google Classroom and
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
Okay.
But there was no like sitting at the auditorium and watching a full-length show, so that was definitely missed.
The way you were holding your hand, I thought you were going to say that you were doing some underground drama or underground performances. I'm like, wait a second, no, don't say that. You're on the radio. Actually, no. So it's nice to have the theater open back up, the auditorium. Tell us a little bit about the play, though, that you're going to be doing here soon, that you wrote. When is that? When are the performances?
That was quite smooth.
Hey,
It's gonna be
sometimes.
May 6th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not in the auditorium, but it's
in the
going
black box.
the black box.
It's right next to the auditorium.
Okay, just sort of behind it, huh?
It's the classroom that we use for our drama class.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier since this project is my capstone project for the year. Then it's a lot easier to just do everything in class rather than having to go back and forth between the auditorium and the black box like we normally do for a full-length show.
Okay, so the May 5th, 6th, and 7th. And what are the times?
I believe it's 7, 3, and 7. So our matinee is going to be 3, just like last year.
Okay, and that's on a Friday then, the 3 o'clock? Is that, or?
Yeah, it's going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
So 7, 3, 7.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll get information out. I said we need to have you record a spot.
Oh, absolutely.
So yes, people can know exactly when the performance is. And now you wrote this and are directing it as well.
Yeah, so my co-director and I have had a set plan for about maybe a year and a half before this, since this is like the first time in about 6 years that I think a student or 2 students have written a 1-act for a capstone project, so that was pretty special to the both of us. So we had a set plan and desire of what we wanted it to be about, and then I just kind of like wrote it out on paper and we created a script out of it. So
Well, there we go.
Fascinating.
That's awesome.
It is. It's so cool. And speaking of another first, Payson High School beach volleyball
Yeah.
is another first.
So it's great that you brought that up. The beach volleyball team actually just started this year.
Uh-huh.
And this is really heartwarming for me because it's a really pivotal experience in my life of if you build it, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
When we started the park project, originally that whole north section wasn't included in the project, and we kind of shifted a few months in and decided that we needed to expand the project. And according to the community feedback that we received, beach volleyball or sand volleyball was something that was very much desired from a recreational standpoint in town. At that time, the Payson High School did not have a beach volleyball program at all. There was no, at least not in the broader sense, there wasn't any real talk about it in the community. I'm sure that there were people that were talking about it and planning and thinking about it at that time, but we didn't know about them. We just knew that we received community feedback and folks wanted sand volleyball courts. And so we added that to the master plan for the site and started the engineering and all that good stuff. And it was just a few months in after that Desi contacted us and said, hey, we're looking at starting a program at the high school, a whole brand new sports ball program. And, would the foundation be willing to work with us to help us with those costs? Because they didn't have any equipment, no uniforms, and whatever fees that they needed. And so it was really cool to be a part of building the program in addition to what will eventually be their home courts. So they are looking forward to hopefully next year practicing on courts at the new park, and hosting tournaments here in Payson.
Wow.
Because there's going to be 4 courts, and so there's enough to actually host an entire tournament right there on site. With appropriate parking and water and restroom facilities.
All of it. Oh yeah.
So that was a really cool thing. So they actually, the current first inaugural team came out on site, and if you go to the MHA Foundation Facebook page, you can see the pictures. And they went on a tour, and it was just so heartwarming to see their excitement and for them to have the opportunity to stand on a dirt field, the Field of Dreams, that is going to be their home courts. So just really heartwarming to be a part of just a whole new program for the town.
And what's really, I think, special about that is to have the team, have the girls out there, the players out there, and they're in school still. Yeah. And they're seeing this, from the ground up be built. And so they can share, later in life when they can come back and say, oh, this is our home court. This is where we played. And I remember
I was here before it was a court.
Yeah, when it was dirt.
I remember, while it was being built, and we walked around, and this was like this, and this was here, and look at it. They're just great memories to have.
Absolutely, it's one of those foundational memories that it's just an anchor point of reflecting back on such an important time in life in high school and that type of thing.
They're going to have a good team. I think they've won 5 games already this year, so they're not going to be they're not going to go to state, but they're making their mark that they're serious about this as a sport.
Well, they've got a great leader. They've got great leadership, and the gals that are on the team are just phenomenal. So.
That is great. And another event that we recently discussed here on the Community Spotlight program that MHA Foundation is involved with. We had Mr. Paul Baracker in with Christine Krog. We have a monthly program, and it's a lot of fun. It is I think the first Monday of every month, or second Monday, but it's kind of become Christine and Friends, where she'll bring in different
all kinds of ragamuffins like Jennifer Smith.
People she's working with, and it's great. It is so great, just to learn what is going on, with the different organizations and organizations working together, collaborating. What a concept. But they were talking about the recent Aspire Arizona Foundation breakfast. And that is an incredible event.
It is.
Talk about the memories that are being made and just the impact, the incredible impact that that is having on the young people in the community.
Yeah, these kids are incredible.
They are, and the program itself is, is monumental and life-changing in the sense that I think Paul and the board have raised $105,000 this year. Our experience over the last decade has been that for every $1 that we spend in the program, that we're getting almost $4 worth of benefit to the parents of those kids. So we're talking about this year alone, getting between $500,000 and $600,000 worth of benefits to accrue to parents of kids who are getting the dual credits.
Wow. Yeah, he Paul was saying how there really isn't any, from what he's seen, any other program like this anywhere in the U.S. There aren't any other rural communities, small communities that are providing this benefit to this extent to young people.
This is another opportunity where we can look at it and genuinely know that we're being the yeast. Because an individual that has a bachelor's degree can anticipate about a double the amount of income each year as an individual who does not have a college degree or other certification. I don't want it to sound like it's just has to be a four-year university.
Yes.
So when you think about the exponential growth that takes place financially for those individuals, and over time, when you can calculate that out over the course of a 25 or 30-year career for hundreds, if not soon to be thousands of students, that kind of impact, economic impact on hopefully the Payson community, but wherever they land. Wow, that's some active yeast, let me tell you.
And it was, I think, great now that you're seeing participants in the program starting to come back and speak and encourage and share with the young people currently in the program and share their experiences and just share with them the impact, the positive impact it had on their life.
Absolutely. Another thing I'd like to talk about too, Chris, is, and I suppose you could use the word impact, but it might not be super flattering. The Payson Fire Department is actually going to be offering free CPR classes here, and that's another program that we're sponsoring. And so that is going to be on June 7th from 6 to 9 p.m. And they can call the foundation office. Folks can call the foundation office if they would like to participate. This is a great program, obviously, for any concerned citizen. If you've got somebody at home that is that has some tenuous health, yeah, exactly. This is a great thing to have. It's good for teenagers, for babysitting, and it's a skill that they can put onto their resume.
Yes.
So if it's if you need certification in CPR, give us a jingle.
Now, Ashlyn, I know your mom is a nurse. She's an RN, but have you ever done a CPR class?
I believe I took one in freshman year because it's a course that you have to graduate.
Oh.
So I took a class freshman year in my PE class.
Okay.
So.
Wow, that is great. Hey, nice refresher if you've already taken the class. But yeah, that is just a great opportunity.
And then we had another huge opportunity presented before us, the AVID program that we were able to be a part of for the last couple of years. Has just gained so much support systemically from within the school district that originally it was implemented in the middle school and the high school. And the elementary schools saw what was going on and just on their own decided that they wanted to be a part of that. And so the AVID program is actually expanding to all 4 school sites.
Wow.
Yeah, all the way from, it'll be K through 12. And it's amazing to see the enthusiasm and the excitement that's coming from the district about this program that can really, again, be the yeast, give them the leg up to just do such amazing things for our kids. We have people that the heart of our educators is incredible, and this gives them more tools with which to reach our kids.
Interestingly enough, we had a banquet with the middle school recently, and those kids that were in the program, their I'll use the term testimonial, their willingness to get up in front of a group of adults and express themselves was truly amazing. I wouldn't have, if you'd asked me when the 6th or 7th grade to stand up in front of adults, like, I'd have shriveled, I'd have crawled under a log somewhere, you know, but these kids were articulate, they were friendly, they mingled with the crowd in the room, they explained the things that they were learning that were directly attributable to the Abbott program. It was truly heartwarming.
And not only that, you know, not only are they willing to get up and talk, but they have skills that are crazy awesome, and they have goals. These kids, they have visited colleges, they have researched careers, they know where they want to go, they know what they want to study, they are working their path toward those life goals in middle school. And you know, they're learning skills like critical thinking and organization and note taking, and they're just building such a rich educational background and foundation for themselves. And then when you pair that with the goal setting and the, you know, in their mind's eye, they're already there. And that's how you succeed at a goal, is by already being there in your head, and then the rest of it's just walking the walk. And so for our kids to be having that rich of a school experience is just, I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Ashlyn needs to be aware that one of the young ladies that sit at the table that I was at said one of her goals was to be a screenwriter, so she got competition coming from an 8th grader, no less.
Hey, it'd be great to have a handful of screenwriters, directors, actors coming out of Payson High School.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome to see. And talking about that foundation, it really sounds like, and what you were explaining and describing, a broad foundation. And the broader that foundation can be, I think it just better equips a young person for life.
Absolutely.
So, wow. So hey, we've covered just a couple things, talked about a couple different things, and we could probably go on for another 40 minutes.
Absolutely.
You know, just talking about all of the just great things that are happening in our community, projects, programs that MHA Foundation is a part of. And like you said, just is helping where there's a need.
You know, and not only a need, Chris, but just such a heart. We have the privilege to come along beside and bolster these incredible programs that are run by incredible people, and that's what makes Payson. That's why we love to do what we do, is because the heart is there and we just get to participate with them.
And just quickly, one example, and just wanted to say thank you, Scott Davidson and the Outdoor Adventure Club, the matching donation from MHA Foundation, everyone that contributed to that, so many people in the community that showed their support and contributed, and then that was matched by MHA Foundation just to make a greater impact.
I believe
that program.
The total was over, I think it was $7,100 that was raised for his program.
Yeah.
So that's so exciting.
I know
so exciting.
That was something Christine was very excited about. ERA Young Realty, part of that as well, and she was very excited. So and for good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about again, somebody that just has an incredible heart for the youth of the community, and for 22 years doing that.
That whole team, with Larry Jones and everybody that pulled together in their team to make that happen, it was really exciting.
That was. So, well, thank you so much. Hey, it was great having you in and talking about all these things. I love talking about all the wonderful, positive things that are happening in our community.
Absolutely.
For everyone, from youth, to the seniors, all ages. It's great. So, again, thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Ashland. And we're going to get that spot. We need to get that recorded. So, yeah, so we can get people out to see the Ashland original, the play. What is the title? I didn't ask you that.
No, you did not. It is called All Quiet on Set.
Shh. All Quiet on the Set. Oh, okay. A psych comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Hey, that'll be interesting. That'll be good. And it's coming to you May 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Ooh.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening today. And we'll get you back to the music here with some U2, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and more. There we go. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful